Week 2 of the 2025 NFL preseason is here, and it is the annual Snoopy Bowl held at MetLife Stadium between our New York Jets and the crosstown rival New York Giants right here on this pregame edition of NY Flight Jets Talk. We let all you Jet fans know out there what to be looking for, players to watch, bold takes, key matchups to keep an eye on, and much more. We'll talk about that and all and everything surrounding this game right here on the second pregame edition of the year of NY Flight Jets Talk, baby. Let's go.
Jets, Jets, let's go.
Jets wide receiver Wesley Walker. Wesley, how you doing today? ESPN writer Mr. Rich Cimini, Jets reporter for The Athletic Mr. Zach Rosenblatt, Hall of Famer and Jets legend Mr. Marty Lyons.
Your host, Connor Long.
What is going on, New York Jet fans? Hello, everyone, and welcome back here into another edition of NY Flight Jets Talk as we come to you guys live right here on this Saturday evening, August 16th, 2025. Make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe on your way into the building. It's completely free, and it helps us grow significantly right here on the show. Connor Long with you guys here on NY Flight Jets Talk as we come to you for every single preseason, regular season game, and hopefully some playoff games this season. We give you a pregame preview, everything you need to know ahead of each game. We typically come to you guys live about an hour and a half before kickoff, and that's exactly what we're doing right here on this Saturday evening ahead of the New York Jets matchup against the crosstown rival New York Giants, held at MetLife Stadium, the Snoopy Bowl, that is it's better known for, yearly tradition where the Jets square off against the Giants. Last year, it came in the final week of the preseason, week 3 of the preseason. This year, however, it's week 2 of the preseason, and there are a lot of key matchups that we want to dive into, and this is certainly going to be an intriguing game for the Jets on the heels of a 30-10 preseason win open the preseason against the Green Bay Packers on the road. Now they're the visitors, however, at their own home field at MetLife Stadium against the New York Giants, and we'll let you know all you need to know ahead of today's matchup. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe. It is completely free, and it helps us grow significantly here on the channel. Through all your questions, comments, thoughts in the chat. We're going to get to those. You guys can call into the show with the pinned comment. I'm about to throw that link in the chat. So if you guys want to call in here, get up on the screen, give your Jet takes, air out your thoughts. If you have any questions for me, you can come on the screen and do that with the pin linked that I just threw in the chat. I appreciate all your support as always. Getting kind of long right here with you guys on NY Flight Jets Talk. Our July / middle of the way of August membership raffle occurred yesterday, and it was a huge hit. I'm happy to announce our new prizes for this month's membership raffle, and there are some great ones that I hope all you guys are excited for, baby. Prizes include a Sauce Gardner signed jersey, a Garrett Wilson signed helmet, a Wayne Corbett signed jersey, a CJ Mosley signed jersey, a Bart Scott signed photo, a Don Maynard signed photo, and then a huge prize, a super, super cool one for all the old-time Jet fans out there. The front page of the New York Daily News from when the Jets won their only Super Bowl in 1969, of course, coming over the Indianapolis Colts, and that will come in a frame. It's a super, 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 super cool prize, along with all the other prizes that we have in this month's membership raffle. And if you guys want an opportunity to be a part of the membership raffle and get an entry, you could do so by submitting super chats, by submitting memberships. Every $2 super chat, as I throw the ticker on down below, every $2 super chat or gifted membership gives you an entry. And we'll do it this way. After every single Jet win this season, the raffles will be doubled. So if you give the membership, that would turn into 2 after every Jet game. But super excited to announce the prizes in this month's new membership raffle. So make sure you guys get in on that. Again, every $2 super chat or gifted membership gives you an entry. It's a great way to help the show grow, and it gives you guys an opportunity to go ahead and win some pretty cool prize. Again, questions, comments, thoughts, throw all of those in the chat. Smash the like button and hit subscribe right here on the show. Get all your super chats, memberships in. They help the show grow significantly, folks. Jets versus Giants, less than an hour and a half away. kicking off at MetLife Stadium. This year, the Jets are listed as the visitors, so technically the Giants hosting the Jets, but they're both the tenants of MetLife Stadium. Both teams obviously are very familiar with MetLife as it's both of their home fields. Jets, like I said, on the heels of a 30-10 preseason victory last week over the Green Bay Packers to kick off third year, while the Giants are fresh off a 34-25 win over the Buffalo Bills on the road. Both teams, it's their first game at MetLife Stadium. The Jets' first game at MetLife since January 5th. So it's great to see both these teams, the crosstown rivals, square off under the bright lights in East Rutherford in MetLife Stadium. It's going to be a super intriguing game. There are so many intriguing matchups that I want to dive into here on the show. And the biggest thing right off the top when you look at both these rosters is the game is going to be won and lost in the trenches. Obviously, the Giants have one of, if not the best defensive line in all of football when you look at the names that they've built up there. Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, obviously selected in the first round of the NFL draft. This year, you have Dexter Lawrence on the interior. He's able to create havoc not only as a pass rusher, but a run stuffer. And then when you look on the flip side and you look at the Jets' offensive line, they've allocated so many assets towards building that line as well. First round pick in this year's draft, Armand Membu. First round pick in last year's draft, Olu Fashanu. Another first round pick, Elijah Vera Tucker on the interior. Former second round pick, Joe Tippmann under center, but he's missed the competition that we'll dive into later today and in the show with Josh Myers, who the team added this offseason. So the game is going to be won and lost in the trenches. And ultimately, we don't know if starters will play today. Aaron Glenn made it clear ahead of the preseason opener that starters will play. And when asked about it this week, he told reporters, quote, "The plan is the plan. That's the plan." That's what head coach Aaron Glenn told reporters during the team's during both their teams' second joint practice held at the Giants facility. So it remains unknown whether we will see starters or not today. I do anticipate that we see starters for at least one possession today. We saw the offense only tried out for one possession last week. It resulted in a touchdown. Aaron Glenn saw what he needed to see, and then boop, he pulled the offensive starters off the field. So I anticipate we will see starters at some point during today's game. Could they start the game? Could they come in the second half? We don't know. Aaron Glenn is not tipping his hand and telling reporters what he's going to do. We're going to find out if we see starters or not the first possession of the game, and I'm sure there will be more reports once we approach closer to kickoff what the Jets' plan is with starters. And I think if we do see starters and if we do see Justin Fields get out on the field and suit up for the Jets today, the battle in the trenches is going to be even more important for this team, just given the fact that, again, this is an elite defensive line with the Giants, and we don't want Justin Fields under pressure. We don't want, Justin Fields running for his life in the pocket, especially when backup quarterback Tyrod Taylor remains up in the air. His status for week one, we know he's out for the entirety of the preseason. Head coach Aaron Glenn is hopeful that he will be ready for week one. So there's also the injury aspect as well. That's why if we do see Fields and we do see starters today, the offensive line needs to do their best to keep Fields shielded from that elite Giants defensive line and not let them get home too many times and potentially even injure Justin Fields, just given the fact that Jets are already dealing with a significant injury in the quarterback room. Backup quarterback Tyrod Taylor undergoing surgery on his knee. So there's also the injury aspect with this as well. That's going to be important to keep in mind. And I'm sure that's something Aaron Glenn weighed significantly throughout his decision this week, whether we will see starters, whether we will not see starters. And since the NFL has really narrowed down this preseason to 3 games, every game carries so much weight for roster bubble players as well. We're already a third of the way through the preseason. A few hours from now, we will be 2/3 of the way through the preseason. So we're slowly running out of time for these roster bubble players, some players who were on the team last year, who were fringe players now looking to establish why they're worthy of a roster spot this year. We're running out of time for those guys to show why they're worthy of a spot on this team's 53-man roster. And there are so many players with a lot to prove tonight in East Rutherford as to why they deserve a spot on this team's roster. They have to show a lot to this coaching staff. And the 3 players who I highlighted in my Jets X Factor column that came out earlier this morning, with the most to prove entering today include linebacker Marcelino McCrary-Ball, defensive tackle Derek Nandi, and cornerback Ryan Cooper. I have each of those guys there for three completely different reasons of their own. First, when you look at Marcelino McCrary-Ball entering the team's first preseason game last week, he was strongly viewed as the favorite to earn the team's linebacker 3 job on the heels again of a strong start to training camp. However, last week he really lowered his stock. He got off to a super rough start, late hit out of bounds, and Aaron Glenn scolded him after the play immediately. He also whiffed on it against the run on a run play a couple plays later after he got back onto the field. And he was listed as the team's third linebacker on the unofficial depth chart, but Jamin Davis, former first-round pick by the Washington Commanders, opened the game next to Quinnen Williams and Jamian Sherwood. Davis made the most in his limited action, had a sack, multiple run stuffs over just 12 snaps. Zaire Barnes is another guy who outplayed him, 3 tackles, no whiffs on 17 defensive snaps, and even Miami undrafted free agent Jamarcus Weston outplayed McCrary-Ball. He had a pair of tackles on 10 defensive snaps and sprinted down the field to recover a muffed punt. He was making an impact on special teams. The aggression was evident with Weston, who remains fighting for a roster spot here. So it's evident that McCrary-Ball's stock was lowered significantly last week after a poor performance. He went from just a little under 2 weeks ago being viewed as the favorite to be the linebacker 3 on this team to now looks like fighting for a roster spot. So he has a lot to prove tonight. That Aaron Glenn's message with him after the penalty resonated. He's not going to play undisciplined football. You need to see the tackling take a step in the right direction if he wants to find a spot on this team. So Marcelino McCrary-Ball has a lot to prove tonight. He has to prove he still has that special teams grit as well. How much special teams value does he offer? Because that was the main reason he saw snaps, he saw playing time with this team last season. He was making an impact on special teams. He was aggressive. And game 1 of the preseason, it's looking like Jamarcus Weston can already replace his role there. So Marcelino McCrary-Ball, linebacker, number 41, certainly someone a lot of fans should be keeping an eye on tonight, as he has a lot to prove entering the team's second preseason contest. Next up in this column that I published today on JetsXFactor.com, defensive tackle Derek Nandi, someone who's 3-time Super Bowl champion, signed with this team as a free agent this offseason. He began the summer, in my eyes and a lot of the fan base's eyes, as the consensus favorite to be the one lining up opposite Quinnen Williams in the starting lineup. However, a preseason game in, a ton of training camp officially in the books, that has been far from the case. He's made little to no impact during the preseason opener, and he's shown little to nothing throughout practice as well. Undrafted rookie Peyton Page has stood out throughout camp. J2 Fele was making a huge impact last week in Green Bay. Leonard Taylor III, Byron Coart, among the other names who's also, outplayed him and impressed the coaching staff a lot more, as these depth spots are beginning to come at a premium across the defensive line. Cowart was listed ahead of Nandi as the starter on the team's unofficial depth chart. He enters the final stretch of the preseason on the roster bubble. As crazy as that sounds, he needs a strong finish to the preseason to convince the coaching staff that he's worthy of a spot on this team's 53-man roster. Again, never in a million years, once the Jets signed Derek Nandi, did I think I'd be talking about him as a roster bubble player. Frankly, I didn't have him on my initial 53-man roster prediction, which came out after the Packers game. I'm doing a 53-man roster prediction for Jets X Factor after every preseason game, so there will be one after tonight's game that should be published tomorrow morning on Jets X Factor, so certainly stay tuned for that, folks. But I didn't have Derek Nandi on my 53-man roster after the Packers game. He hopes to flip that trend tonight. He needs to get in the backfield. He needs to make an impact. We all know that he doesn't offer much as a pass rusher. Where he comes and brings value is as a run stuffer, and that's somewhere where the Jets lack established talent. Nandi has an opportunity to be that guy. He's a prime opportunity to be that guy. However, he hasn't shown it all summer long. These final 2 preseason games are certainly going to be important for him. And last up on this list for me is Ryan Cooper, cornerback who joined the Jets midway throughout training camp after the release of punter Kai Kroger, and it's for a different reason than McCrary-Ball and Nandi. Cooper is someone who's caught the eye of this coaching staff, has quickly made his presence felt both on the practice field and in preseason action. He's flown around the field with energy. He's been making big hits. He's played with a high motor. Preseason opener, stellar 74.2 defensive grade, including an 88.3 coverage grade is what he earned from Pro Football Focus. On 3 targets last week, Cooper only allowed 1 catch for 4 yards. So stingy in coverage, overall flying around the field, playing with a high motor, delivering big hits, everything that this team's coaching staff wants to see. The biggest thing for him, though, is this secondary is so crowded with so much talent. These final 2 preseason games, his job is to be able to separate himself from the rest of the bunch. Go out in special teams, make a few nice plays on special teams, continue flying around throughout the field, maybe force a fumble tonight, stay stingy in coverage. The biggest thing for him is being able to separate himself from the rest of this pack in this very crowded secondary. I really wanted to put him on my 53-man roster prediction last week. Unfortunately, I had him landing on the practice squad, but that could certainly change if he continues to play at this caliber for the final 2 preseason games. So Derek Nandi, Marcelino McCrary Ball, and Ryan Bump Cooper are the 3 players I think with the most to prove to this coaching staff tonight. Thank you all for tuning in right here on NY Flight Jets Talk. Make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe. It is completely free, and it helps us grow significantly right here on the channel. Again, questions, comments, thoughts, throw all of those in the chat. We're going to get to those. You guys can call into the show with the pinned comment. I see all you guys backstage. We're going to get to all your calls, your questions, your comments, your thoughts in a little bit. And don't forget about our membership raffle. New prizes have been announced. You see them on the scrolling ticker down below. Every $2 super chat or gifted membership gives you a raffle entry, folks. And the prizes for this month, the biggest raffle that we have done to date. Some super cool prizes, including a Sauce Gardner signed jersey, baby, a Garrett Wilson signed helmet, a Wayne Corbett signed jersey, a CJ Mosley signed jersey, a Bart Scott signed photo, Don Maynard signed photo, and then a super cool prize, the homepage, the front page of the New York Daily News following the Jets Super Bowl III win over the Indianapolis Colts, and that comes in a frame. So a super cool prize alongside so many other valuable pieces of New York Jets memorabilia. So you make sure you get in our membership raffle. Every $2 super chat or gifted membership gives you an entry. And the first person to enter this month's membership raffle is our guy, Avin Avital, who drops a 10 bomb of channel memberships, baby. Here today, G.
Here's what I do know. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Alan, thank you so much for the support, my friend. I really appreciate the gifted memberships. That is 10 raffle entries for you right here on the show. If you hear your name called, thank you, Alan, for the gifted membership, baby. Party with Peg and Artie, Rick Kent, Genergy, Jay Lepselter, Skip Donahue, Braden, NZL, Huge Johnson, Just the Tipman, Brian Rapp, and then our guy Dom C. All earning channel memberships thanks to our friend Alan, who gets things started here in this month's membership raffle, dropping a 10 bomb, a gift in memberships. And then Robin Boy Wonder follows that up by becoming a member himself and earning an entry into the raffle, baby. Let's go
to eat a damn snack.
Damn straight. Robin Boy Wonders, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Again, you see all the details for this month's membership raffle on the scrolling ticker down below. Make sure you get in on that. After every Jet win as well, including the preseason, we're going to do double entries. So if the Jets win tonight and you come in and you gift a membership, well, that would equal 2 entries for you, and so on and so forth. So make sure you get into our membership raffle, guys. Gives you an opportunity to win some super cool prizes, and that's a great way to help support the show. Luppy says, hey, Connor, why are you not at T-Squared? I wish I was at T-Squared. Unfortunately, though, my dad is in Chicago for work currently, so I did not have a ride to the meetup tonight, unfortunately. I would have loved to be there. I will certainly be at a regular season game meetup with all the Asmaniacs, with the whole Jake Asman show crew, but unfortunately not there at T-Squared Social tonight. Again, thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you smash the like button and hit subscribe, completely free, and it helps us grow significantly here on the show. Keep all your questions, comments, thoughts flowing in the chat. We're going to get to those. You guys can call into the show with the pinned comment at the top of the chat. First up here on the show today is the great Charles Gorman, who joins us now. Charles, long time no see, my friend. How you been?
I feel good, Connor. How are you doing, young man? I can see your show still rocking. What are you in 8th grade now, or going to?
Appreciate it. I'm going into 9th grade.
Oh, that's right. You're going to be a freshman in high school, huh? Well, if you want I know you're. Oh, I know I'm sure you got a lot of advice from your friends, but my advice is just keep doing being yourself. Hang around good people. Keep hitting them books, and I hope one day you'll make it big someday. Because I think you'll be bigger than, I don't know, Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter.
That means a lot. I appreciate the kind words, Charles. That really means
It's
a
the
lot.
truth, man. It's the truth. You are very good. I mean, obviously you landed big time interviews with Wesley Walker. Brent Antoine Staley, who obviously needs to improve on his baseball repertoire. I mean, Red Sox fan, come on now. I'm kidding. But with all due respect, it's good seeing you, buddy. I've been feeling better these past few days. If you wanted me to talk about last week's game, I'm more than willing to do that. Or if you just want me to skip today's matchup, if that's what you want to do. Last week, I was very impressed with how the team was coached and organized, even though the penalties need to stop. I saw Aaron Glenn chew out the players, especially a couple, especially our boy, quote unquote, and Mike Clemens. But I like the fact this team was coached the right way. We haven't really had legitimate coaching from our head coach, not just from one particular, but from a whole coaching staff in a very long time. And my experience being a Jet fan since 2008, all the coaching staffs that I've experienced have been, to say disappointing would be an understatement. I'd say have been underwhelming. I would be an understatement. But with that being said, I can't wait for this matchup against the Giants. Obviously, we play the Giants every single year in the preseason. And my most anticipated matchup is the Jets D-line versus the Giants offensive line the most. Because since 2013, I've been saying this for a long time, the Giant offensive line since 2013 has not been very good. Although last week I was impressed with their performance, more specifically their fifth-round draft pick, Embo. I don't know how you pronounce his last name.
Marcus Embo, from Purdue.
Marcus Embo, he looked good. So I like to see how they stack up against him, how he stacks up against them. Obviously, I do like to see how our offensive line home against the Giant D-line. The Giant D-line looks stacked. So let's see what happens there. But all in all, I just hope the most important thing we should come away with this is no major injuries. That's the most important thing we should come away with. As for the players you suggested have something to prove, I think if there's one player that has something to prove the most out of them is Derek Nottie, because obviously he was a part of he won 3 Super Bowls as a member of the Chiefs these past few years. I'm not saying he's a big-time player, but he's been shown to be somewhat of a serviceable player throughout his NFL career. I know last year was a bit of a down year for him. But this year, he's got something to prove, man. I mean, obviously, we saw what Leonard Ted III can do. We saw what Tulele can do. We saw what a lot of other guys can do in this rotation. So if I'm Derek Nottie, I'm stepping my game up to the next level.
Most definitely. Charles, you got a score prediction for tonight? You think the Jets come out on top?
I don't really care. You know what, Con? I'm not trying to sound like a jerk. I really don't care about the score when it comes to preseason. I just want to watch football. Right now, I'm watching the Raiders and 49ers. Ashton Genty scored a touchdown. He carried the ball, 6 or 7 times, close to 34, 35 yards. So after having a crappy first week, he rebounded with a big week this week. So we'll see. It goes week by week, man. I think there's one player on this Jet offensive line that I really want to see the most. I love Olu, but I want to see more Membu. I think Membu is going to really showcase what he learned in training camp and joint practices. He looked very good last week versus Green Bay. I think he's going to continue to get better over time. I think we're going to probably have the best bookend tackles we've had since, D. Brick and Damian Woody, who, by the way, I didn't even know he played center and guard during his tenure with the Patriots.
Most definitely.
FYI, put Damian Woody in the Hall of Fame.
There we go. I mean, you hope you have your bookend tackles, Charles, because Membu and Olufashio and Armand Membu aren't free agent pickups. They're not a 4th, 5th round pick. These are 2 guys first you selected Membu with the 11th overall pick 2 years ago, and then you just selected Armand Membu with the number 7th overall pick in this year's NFL draft. So these are players who are highly touted, players you allocated a premium amount of assets towards. So you hope they're your bookend tackles for a long time.
I do hope so too, but so far, I was very impressed with Oluf last year, especially in that loss against Seattle where he didn't allow a single pressure. And nobody talks about it except for us Jet fans because, we've been that bad for so long. But he's a damn good player. Unfortunately, thank God the injury he sustained later last year wasn't too severe. But the good news is he played very well at left tackle. He looks like a stud. Obviously, we still got Tippmann. We still got John Simpson. We still got Elijah Vera Tucker. And Josh Morris is above average, but he ain't our future. So
Yeah,
Hopefully,
Charles, before we let you go here, Gil dropped in with a $2 super chat, so thank you so much, Gil. I appreciate the support. He says, "Why are you ducking Jake? Is this something that happened,
don't
Charles?"
worry, I'm not ducking Jake. I just spoke with him via text. He gave me he gave me a fanny pack that it was inspired by me. I got it. Uh,
There we go.
I'm not ducking anybody. I'm just been going through a bit of a mental health crisis right now.
I hope
In case you haven't
everything.
heard, I left his Discord and Nick Shine, but I did resubscribe to Nick Shine's YouTube channel. I'm gonna join
I
this
hope
show.
everything goes well with you, Charles. If you ever need anything, you ever need any help,
Thank you, man. I appreciate that,
you're
big
in my
fella.
Discord. I think you can message me on
I'm on
Discord.
your Discord. I'm on Richie's. I'm on everybody else's except Jake's and Nick's. But it's nothing personal. It's just something I gotta take care of mentally. And
Well, I
anyway,
hope everything's well with you, Charles. I hope
so far
everything.
things have been getting better. I've been talking to my behavior. It's been praying a lot. I've been praying to Jesus a lot lately. I'm sorry to get religious here, but it helps when you have faith. Anyways, it was good talking with you, Connor.
Most
Have a good
definitely.
day, all right?
Charles, it's great to see you, my friend. Great to catch up with you, and go Jets, baby.
Yep, yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Gorman checking in here on the show. Great call by Charles. Hope everything's going well with him. Seems like he's in good spirits, which is always great to see. Football's back, and it's always great to see Jet fans excited for the season. It's always great to see Jet fans pumped up and ready to root for this team, despite not appearing in a playoff game since 2010 and despite not having a winning season in over a decade. But we continuously root for this team. Next up here on the hotline is Beast, who joins us next. Beast, are you there? Beast joins the hotline, and it looks like he just leaves. So when we see Beast come back in the camera, we will go back to him. But thank you all for joining us right here on NY Flight Jets Talk as we come to you guys live as we do before every single Jets game, preseason, regular season, hopefully some postseason, pre and post game coverage of this season. It's great to see you all in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. All 180 you guys watching us live, make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe, completely free, and it helps us grow significantly. 45 you guys watching on YouTube, 180 you guys total. We only have 26 likes. So guys, keep hitting the like button. We're 53 subscribers away from 2,000 on YouTube. So check right down below. If you are not subscribed on YouTube, just hit that subscribe button, folks. It is completely free. It's nothing. It's free of charge, completely free of cost. Hit that button as we chase 2,000 subscribers, folks. We're trying to get there. Again, support the show, completely free way. And it really, really means a lot. So keep hitting the like button, folks. Keep hitting subscribe. We appreciate your support here on NY Flight Jets Talk as we gear up, baby, for the 2025-2026 NFL regular season. Connor Long right here with you guys on the show. Throw all your questions, comments, thoughts in the chat. You guys can call into the show with the pinned comment. Again, new membership raffle for this month is underway, so make sure you get into it. We already have 3 entries here on the show. Got to add Gil to that list on our leaderboard that we will have on the scrolling ticker all raffle long. Raffle will be drawn September 15th, and we're giving away some super cool prizes that include a Sauce Gardner signed jersey, a Garrett Wilson signed helmet, a Wayne Corbett signed jersey, CJ Mosley signed jersey, Bart Scott signed photo, Don Maynard signed photo, and the front page of the New York Daily News the day after the New York Jets secured their Super Bowl victory in 1969, baby. And that front page comes right in the frame as well, so a great prize along with the other very valuable piece of New York Jets memorabilia we're giving away. So make sure you get into our membership raffle. You see it on the ticker down below there, folks. Every $2 super chat or gifted membership gives you an entry. Shout out to all you guys, Connor Long, right here with you guys on NY Flight Jets Talk. A little under an hour away from the Jets' second preseason game against the New York Giants, the annual Snoopy Bowl held at MetLife Stadium year in and year out. So really, really looking forward to it. 3 siblings. Our guy Jay is first in the building today. He's in the chat. Good to see you, Jay. Got here before Crispy Chris B, baby. I see Chris B in the chat. We'll get to him a little later. But Jay coming in as the first member of the show right here in the chat. Alan Avatol gifted 10 memberships earlier. Shout out to you, Alan. Says Efton Chisholm and Theo Weiss should be UDFA wide receiver to make rosters in the AFC. Curious if Jamal Pritchett follows suit for the Jets. I have Pritchett on my initial 53, Allen. He's someone I've been very high on since the Jets first picked him up, and I know a lot of people have joined that train since, seeing how he's been able to progress throughout training camp, seeing his progression as a punt returner as well, along with his route running ability, his strong hands. So I have Jamal Pritchett making the 53. I think he's able to replace the role of Xavier Gibson as that returner, but also offers more upside offensively as a route runner, as a pass catcher. So I have Jamal Pritchett earning a spot on this team's 53-man roster, but I think today will prove pivotal. If he's a mess, if he's not able to get involved offensively and he doesn't rip off any nice returns, I don't know where his stock sits, especially if a player like Quentin Skinner is able to have a big game too. I have both Skinner and Pritchett making my 53, but that's under the circumstance that this team moves on from Allen Lazard. I don't know if they're going to do that. I think Allen Lazard, however, needs to have a nice game today, has to compile a few big games after he was pretty much silent against Green Bay last week. So look out for Allen Lazard these next two preseason games as well. There's going to be a lot of gymnastics to be done, Allen, with this wide receiver room, because I'm sure there's a situation where they can keep Pritchett on the 53. And then there's also the circumstance, kind of what they did with Brandon Smith last year, of just stashing him on the practice squad and keeping him there as well. I think these next two preseason games, again, are the two biggest tests for Jamal Pritchett alongside most of these UDFAs, especially today, because the second preseason game is one that coaching staffs typically value the most. So certainly keep an eye out for Jamal Pritchett today. Still amidst a roster battle despite a very strong start to training camp and a nice game against the Green Bay Packers last week, baby. Luppy wants in on our membership raffle as he drops in and gifts a 5-pack of channel memberships. Hit it, Matt O'Leary.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Damn straight, Matt. Luppy, thank you so much for all of your support right here on the show. That is 5 raffle entries for you if you hear your name called. Thank Luppy, because he gifted you a channel membership. Swamp Ranger, Cuca Lake Jet Fan, Jerry Moore, Stephen Craig, Philip Hannon, you are all channel memberships. Thanks to our friend Luppy, who drops a 5-spot gifted memberships. Luppy, thank you so much for all your support, my friend. Shout out to all you guys for supporting the show. The memberships go such a long way. They give you raffle entries, as you can see on the ticker down below. But the free way, I can't emphasize enough, the free way to help us grow is smashing that like button and hitting subscribe. We are 51 subs away from 2,000. And I bet you all 111 of you guys watching live are not subscribed to the channel. I will guarantee that. So just check right down below. If it says you're not subscribed, just hit that subscribe button. It says subscribe. Hit that button, because we are chasing 2,000 subscribers right here on the show, and it's completely free. And if you enjoy the Jets, you're a Jet fan, you enjoy daily Jets content, make sure you hit subscribe and support the show, because it really does go a long way. We appreciate your support as always right here on the program. Dick Chimney's Burner in the building. Good to see you, my friend. Appreciate you tuning in. Our Patriots fan, DTN, is in the building. Good to see you, DTN. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights in the house. Good to see you. Mike D's Nuts in the building. Mike, it was great meeting you for the first time at Jets training camp just a few weeks ago, and it's good to see you in the building, my friend. Appreciate you tuning in. There he is, Chris B, baby. Jay beat him to the punch as the first person in the chat today, but kindest man in the Jets YouTube, still supporting, still in the building as always. Great to see you, Chris B. Appreciate all your support as always. Ricky New York in the building. Subscribe to Ricky's channel. He's doing some great stuff over there. Thank you for tuning in. Ricky says, Connor, come by my post-game show if you're still up. I certainly will, Ricky, if it runs after mine ends, guys. Here on the channel, stay tuned, because immediately after the final whistle, we have live post-game coverage as well. So that's another perk. We do live pregame shows. We do live post-game shows. So, Ricky, if yours is still on after I've wrapped up my post-game, I will certainly stop by. Appreciate you tuning in, everyone. Go over, subscribe to Ricky's channel, because he's doing some amazing work covering this team. Good to see all you tuning in. Charleston Jets Rube in the building. Says CL starting early. Love it. Yes, sir. Charleston Jets Rube. Thank you for tuning in, my friend. Great to see you in the comment section of last night's video. Great to see you tuning in here on the show. I appreciate your support, my friend. The kind words go a long way, and they mean a lot here on the show. He follows it up by saying Mason Taylor is going to play, I believe. Mason Taylor is going to play. Says excited to see him see him block and hopefully catch a couple too. He was dealing with a high ankle sprain, and he recovered from that quickly. He was out on the practice field, and the Jets, as you see him enter the locker room there at MetLife Stadium earlier today, he made a significant impact during the Jets' first joint practice with the Giants on Tuesday. He was flying around. He was catching a ton of passes. He was catching passes through tight coverage. His route running ability, his strong hands, I think, is going to be super valuable to this team's just pass catching room in general, and providing someone who Justin Fields can trust and dish the ball out to. Also, his blocking ability, like you mentioned there, is going to be so crucial. When a team like the Jets is going to want to prioritize running the ball, you need tight ends who can block, and Mason Taylor, the second-round pick, you hope he's able to take a stride forward as a blocker, because he was not incompetent. He was not a liability as a blocker at LSU, but that certainly wasn't his strength. So if he's able to grow as a blocker, you have Andrew Beck, obviously, is that hybrid piece, who I anticipate will be on this team's 53-man roster. I think you're in a great situation when it comes to blockers outside, obviously, the strong offensive line that you've built up over the past few years. So I think if Mason Taylor certainly shows promising signs tonight as a blocker, it's a step in the right direction. And keep in mind, this is his first time on an NFL field, suiting up for a preseason game, as he missed last week, dealing with an ankle injury. So it'll be intriguing to see the way the Jets kind of use Mason Taylor. I don't anticipate that we will see a lot of him today alongside the majority of the starters, but I do expect that Mason Taylor will find the field at some point today for at least one possession, and hopefully he will make some promising plays, as we hope for every single New York Jet, especially the rookies that this team selected in this year's NFL draft. Charleston also says Fields need to get rid of it quickly and put him on the move. That's what I spoke about at the top of the show, Charleston. I just think when you look at a defensive line of the Giants' caliber, where you have so many different guys, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, and then obviously Dexter Lawrence on the interior, I think that's the secret weapon. The fact that they're able to create so much havoc on the interior of the line is so, so important. So the offensive line is going to need to hold strong today if Fields wants to have a productive performance. I expect a lot of checkdowns from Fields. I expect him to get rid of the ball quickly, and I expect him to get out of the pocket a ton. I don't think we're going to see the deep passes from Justin Fields. I don't think we're going to see, a 50, 60-yard completion today out of Fields. I anticipate if we see Fields today, it's going to be a lot of quick checkdowns, getting the ball out quickly, a lot of RPO action, and then a lot of scramble plays, because he can't afford to take too many sacks, especially when you look behind him and you see Tyrod Taylor just got surgery on his knee, and he's recovering from a knee injury, and Aaron Glenn is hopeful that he will be ready for the start of the season. So, again, if we see Fields, a lot of quick passes, a lot of scramble plays, that's what I am anticipating if we do see him get some reps today, which I do expect. Again, I expect to see the starters for at least one possession today. That's the hope, and that's the expectation, in my opinion, for the Jets. Thank you all for tuning in right here on the show. Alan says Miami found a gem in 5th-round DT Jordan Phillips. Still have no idea why we didn't attack DT in the draft. Yeah, Jordan Phillips from Maryland. He went to Maryland. I remember watching him. He was just a demon. I wanted Joshua Farmer when they traded up and ultimately selected Malachi Moore. I like Malachi Moore. I think there's a chance come week 10 of this year he could be the team starting strong safety, but it's clear the Jets have a plan at the defensive tackle position. If this team's able to remain average in the run stuffing facet, they're able to remain average when it comes to strength on the interior of the defensive line, I'm not going to complain this year, but if it starts to become an issue and we start to see these rookies shine, it is fair for Jet fans to wonder, hey, we traded up, we had all these draft picks, why don't we allocate towards, a pick towards one of the biggest strengths at the time and still remaining right now on the roster, if we're being honest. So that question will come if it is an issue come midway through the season. Robin Boy Wonder says, Connor, I want to make it known that I was there at the beginning of the legend to be. Robin Boy Wonders, my friend, thank you so much for the kind words, my friend. I appreciate the fact that you became a member here on the show. Great to see you getting into the raffle, and I appreciate the kind words alongside all you guys. It really, really goes a long way. And as we were speaking there, we just hit 1,950 subscribers, so just 50 subs away, baby, from hitting 2,000 subscribers here on the channel. So keep smashing subscribe. Let's hit 2,000 subs before next week's preseason game. We could do it. We could do it. Just keep subscribing. Keep smashing the like button. It goes such a long way. It pumps out the channel to more Jet fans out there. So keep doing it, folks. It's completely free. Why not? We appreciate the support, and we appreciate all of you guys tuning in right here ahead of Jets versus Giants, the annual Snoopy Bowl at MetLife Stadium, kicking off just 46 minutes. So we will definitely stay on here a little longer before kickoff and get to all you guys in the chat. Again, keep all the questions, comments, thoughts flowing in the chat. Get all your super chats. Get all your memberships in. You guys call into the show with the pinned comment at the top of the chat if you want to get in on our phone lines and come up here on the show, ask some questions, give out your Jet takes, you could do so by using the pinned comment at the top of the chat. Appreciate your support as always. Luppy says, Connor, who has more yards from scrimmage, Hall or Allen? I assume that you were asking me to make a prediction this season for who I anticipate will have more yards from scrimmage. Look, you guys know I'm wearing Breece Hall's jersey right now, actually. You guys know around draft time, for those who have been watching the show for some time now, around draft time, I said if you could get a third-round pick for Breece Hall, I'd be okay trading him. However, the fact that, Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis have shined behind Breece Hall. We've even seen Donovan Edwards emerge after last week's preseason game. It's great. It's great to see that for sure. But the fact that people think the Jets could just trade, and I'm not accusing you of this, Luppy, I'm just saying general here. The fact that Jet fans think that Jets could just trade Breece Hall and Isaiah Davis and Braylon Allen will be fine. These two guys remain unestablished in the NFL regular season. Breece Hall's going to be on this team this year, folks. Don't just sign off of him after one poor year. He has no trade value whatsoever coming off last season, given the fact that he only has 1 year left on his deal. It was an embarrassment of a year, truly, if you ask Colin. I'm sure he would tell you that himself. So, look, I still think that Breece Hall will have more yards from scrimmage than Braylon Allen. I think Braylon Allen we're going to see a lot more of this year than we saw last year. I think he fits the scheme a lot nicer, but I think Breece Hall is going to ultimately still have more rushing yards than Allen. But most importantly, I think Breece Hall will be second on the team in receiving yards come the end of last year. So I think he's going to collect a lot of his yards from scrimmage as a receiver. That's what we saw in 2023 as well. He had 994 rushing yards, but he also added over 500 yards in the receiving game as well. So I think that Hall will have more rushing yards than Allen, and I also think he will rank second on the team in receiving as well. So that's something to keep in mind for sure when making a prediction and talking about who will make a bigger impact, who will have more yards from scrimmage between Braylon Allen and Breece Hall. Great to see all you guys. Prestige Shotgun in the building. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate your support as always here on the show. Good to see you in the chat. Gil, thank you for the super chat earlier. Appreciate you tuning in here on the show. We said what's up to Mike D's Nuts. Prestige Shotgun says Allen Lazard traded to the Steelers by the trade deadline. I've been speaking about the Steelers as a trade destination since literally the day they signed Aaron Rodgers and the day that the Jets restructured Allen Lazard's deal. I was talking about trading Allen Lazard, how much more movable of a piece he would be on this new contract. And frankly, I would love nothing more than the Jets to trade Allen Lazard. And I think there's a world where they could pull that off. I really, really do. I didn't have him on my 53-man roster prediction last week. Unless he has a big game today, he's not shifting my opinion significantly one way or another. Even if it's a trade where you trade Lazard in the 7th to get a 6th-round pick, I'm fine with it. Again, the contract makes him so much more movable to the fact where, he doesn't have to, teams don't have to inherit that $44 million contract that he was on before he restructured it. And give me, a guy like Quentin Skinner to replace him. I wrote that in my article for Jets X Factor last week. I think Skinner's able to replace him as that lanky downfield threat, the contested catch guy. I take a guy like that over an aging Allen Lazard any day of the week, when the biggest thing all I've heard Jet fans talk about with Lazard is his ability to block and his ability to block and who he is as a blocker and his veteran leadership. Well, you also have that in Josh Reynolds as well, who is certainly a surefire lock to make this team. I don't understand the thought process of doubling up between Allen Lazard and Josh Reynolds. So, look, I think you trade Lazard. I think you move on from Lazard one way or another, and you look at a UDFA like Quentin Skinner to replace him. And we have the inactive list for tonight, and I misspoke there. I thought Allen Lazard would be playing tonight. He was questionable heading into the game. Based on all the reports we saw this week, I anticipated the fact that Allen Lazard would play. But you look at the injury report now, he is not playing in tonight's game alongside Jermaine Johnson, per expected, Francisco Mauigoa, Tyrod Taylor, Azareye'h Thomas, Quinnen Williams, Isaiah Davis, Byron Coart, and Chris Boyd. My biggest takeaway there, we didn't see Boyd last week. We didn't see Coart last week. We didn't see Jermaine Johnson, obviously, last week. We didn't see Quinnen last week. And A.C. Thomas was still dealing with an injury last week as well. Isaiah Davis being out. This is real intriguing, folks. What this tells me, keep an eye out for Donovan Edwards tonight. keep a big eye out for Donovan Edwards. I think he will see an increased amount of snaps tonight with Isaiah Davis listed as out for tonight's game. He's not going to be playing tonight. Keep an eye out for Donovan Edwards, someone who thrived against the third team last week. He's going to see second team reps tonight with Davis out. See how he's able to make an impact on offense. Isaiah Davis's goal these final two preseason games is make it as hard as possible for the Jets to say, make a decision and make it as hard as possible for the Jets to move on from him. So he needs to show everything he can over these next 2 weeks that he is worthy of a roster spot. And with Davis out, he has a prime opportunity to do just that tonight. So Donovan Edwards, baby, he's going to see an increased opportunity tonight. Keep an eye out for him, Jet fans. As Dick Chimney's burner drops in and he submits a $10 super chat, says, "Get me in the raffle. Great stream, Connor. Go Jets." I appreciate the support, Dick Chimney's burner. And AJ has a message
Here's
for
what
you.
I do know. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Dick Chimney's burner, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. That gets you 5 raffle entries right here on the show, and we will add that to the screen. We appreciate your support, as always, here on the channel. Again, guys, you see it, the raffle prize is listed on the ticker down below. Every $2 super chat or gifted membership gives you a raffle entry, so make sure you get in on that raffle. Again, keep the questions, comments, thoughts flowing in the chat. Smash the like button, hit subscribe. We are 50 subscribers away from 2,000 subs right here on NY Flight Jets Talk. Keep hitting subscribe, folks. It is completely free. 126 of you guys watching live. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you smash the like button because it really helps us grow, and it is completely free right here on the channel. We appreciate all of your support, as always, right here on NY Flight Jets Talk. Again, the Jets without 9 players tonight. Chris Boyd, Byron Cohart, Isaiah Davis, Jermaine Johnson, Alan Lazard, Francisco Maligoa, Tyrod Taylor, Azari Thomas, Quinnen Williams, the 9 players who the Jets will be without tonight as they take on the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium in the yearly Snoopy Bowl, the Jets' second preseason game of the year, coming off a 30-10 victory over the Green Bay Packers, while the Giants on the heels of a 34-25 win over the Buffalo Bills. B-Shep, 23 in the buildings, has been waiting for this game all week, and power just went out from the Storms. Hope they have it back soon. Well, B-Shep, I hope you get power back soon. I will let you know how you can watch tonight's game, though. If you're looking for a way to consume it locally in the New York market, it will be on WCBS. If you're out of market, NFL Network. If you want to listen to it, you can listen to it in market, out of market, on the radio. Obviously, Bob was choosing on the call radio-wise tonight. If you want to listen to it on the radio, you can listen to it in New York locally at Q104.3 FM and then nationally at SiriusXM channel 380. So that is the way you can consume tonight's game if you're looking for that. And I ultimately hope the power's back on and you can watch tonight's game. Appreciate you tuning in, B-Shep, and go Jets, baby. Robin Boy Wonder says, "Connor, Nolan McLean was a dog today. 5 2/3 innings pitched, no runs, 8 strikeouts." He truly was. And on the heels of yesterday's game, talking from a Mets perspective here, I wanted to see a big game today because this team has just been killing me these past few weeks, given the fact that, how inconsistent they've been, losing all these narrow games. The pitching has been an unmitigated disaster. So to see a guy like McLean, who I've been talking about them promoting for multiple weeks now, go out there and make an impact today was certainly promising. So shout out to Nolan McLean today in his MLB debut. You see it there. Shout out to Robin by Wonders for that stat line. 5 2/3, no runs allowed with 8 strikeouts. So shout out to Nolan McLean, baby. Thank you for your support here on the show. Thank you, Robin Boy Wonders, for that comment. Appreciate you tuning in. Charleston Jets Group says, "Let's get it for Connor tonight. Tell everyone to sub." Indeed, indeed. I can't emphasize it enough. Keep subscribing. Keep supporting the show. It really goes a long way. We appreciate the support here on the show as we are 50 subs away from 2,000. Just hit that like button. Hit subscribe and get us to 2,000 subs, baby. Appreciate your support here on the show. Prestige Shotgun says, "If Fields doesn't work out, then we got guys like Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier, Lenora Sellers, and Drew Allers to look at low risk, high reward." That's verbatim of the message I've shared all off season long, Prestige Shotgun. Great minds think alike, my friends. So that's the thought process with me for Fields. And we see him tonight. We don't see him tonight. That remains up in the air. I anticipate we will see him tonight. And this will be his first real test against the defensive line that, boy, it'll give him some trouble. And I think when you obviously don't want to see injury. So hopefully there's no injury tonight to Fields. Pray to God if he touches the field, there is no injury to him, no pun intended there. But this is a test for him if we see him going up against a strong defensive line, a strong defense overall. This is a big test for him, and I want to see him, compete against the defense of this caliber, a defensive line of this caliber in the preseason. It can only help him. There's no negative to that. There's no downside. So you hope to see him thrive. You hope to see him stick out tonight, undoubtedly. Appreciate your support, as always, right here on the channel. Charleston said, I wish the top of our wide receiver room was as good as the bottom of it, if that makes sense. I could not agree with you more. I think it might have been you, Charleston, who said that on Jake's show, or someone else, because someone said that exact comment on the Jake Asman show the other day when I was filling in. The top of the wide receiver room, you obviously have Garrett Wilson, the clear-cut number one option, leading the way here. And after that, Josh Reynolds, you have a bunch of these guys who are lower-end guys on good teams competing for the wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 duties. Then we get to the back of the room with Jamal Pritchett, with Quentin Skinner, with Malachi Corley, and it's so competitive. And, we're talking about guys like Pritchett and Skinner, for me personally, who I'm doing everything I can to keep. And again, I completely agree with this opinion, and it's so funny the way it works out. The bottom is so fierce and competitive, while the top, it's just, behind Garrett Wilson. Can someone stick out? Can someone make big plays? And hopefully over the next few years, that's able to be Quentin Skinner and Jamal Pritchett, and they're able to step into big roles, or they're able to establish themselves for sure. Thank you so much for all your support right here on NY Flight Jets Talk. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, keep all the questions, comments, thoughts flowing in the chat. We're going to continue to get those. You guys can call into the show with the pinned comment at the top of the chat. Let's keep it going with your calls. Up next here on the show is the Beast, baby. Beast, how we doing, my friend?
Are we ready for tonight? It's showtime tonight. We got chicken, and what time is it? What time is it?
Game time, baby.
Read them. And wait.
What does it say in the back of that?
Gabagoo. It said Gabagoo.
Gabagoo. Who got that for you? Did you purchase that yourself, Beast?
Hold on. How you feeling tonight?
I'm doing well, Beast. Is that a Jake Asman purchase?
Hold on, I can't hear you, man. Hold on.
You there, Beast?
Can you hear me there clear?
Can you hear me, Beast?
Can you hear me? Hey, yo, hold on.
We'll go back to Beast there, who was dealing with some technical difficulties. I saw Charleston Jetsrue backstage. He was up next here on the show, but then he ultimately bounced back. So if you guys want to call in, you can, because it's empty phone lines as Beast is dealing with technical difficulties here on the show. So call into the show. Pin comment at the top of the chat. Beast, are you there? Are you back?
Yeah, we had a little issue there, so took care of that. Oh, next, you want to try hot sauce? Big fella sent me this.
Beast, I'm still wondering the answer to that question. Who purchased that shirt? Was that you, or was that
Big fella?
Big fella.
Yeah, he sent me this, and
there we go. Love it, Beast.
Showtime, people.
Beast, who's your roster bubble player who you're watching tonight?
Tonight? Oh, let's see. Tonight, I think we're going to have Justin Fields play just a short bit, but this Martinez kid, I seen him last week playing. Good kid. He's got a lot to offer. Let's see what he can do tonight against the Giants. All he's got to do is stick and move, stick and move. It's like boxing. Stick and move, stick and move, stick and move.
Beast, give us a Jet chant here before we let you go.
Come on. Okay, everybody, get your asses up. Oh, come on. Oh, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. J-E-T-S, Jets. Let's go.
I do know. We're the freaking.
There we go, Beast. Way to hit us with the Jet chant. Bringing the heat ahead of tonight's preseason game, preseason clash, week 2 of the preseason against the New York Giants. Shout out to you for calling in, Beast. Appreciate your support as always right here in the chat, right here on NY Flight Jets Talk. Thank you for your support. As always, right here on the show, Charleston says, I believe we will have an elite secondary by midseason. That's hard to argue with. I've said all along, I think this defense is able to reestablish themselves as a top unit in this league after they took a steep step back last year following the firing of Robert Saleh after the Week 5 game in London. You look at the coaching staff this has. You look at this coaching. You look at the experience this coaching staff has. You look at the depth overall this secondary has, coupled with the established premier talent leading the way in Sauce Gardner. Just in not even the secondary, the defense as a whole. Quinton Williams was an All-Pro a couple of years ago. Jamie Sherwood was top 5 in the league in tackles last year. I think the defense as a whole will be a top unit in the league, but most importantly, the secondary. And someone who sticks out to me as the unsung hero in the secondary last year, who I think is going to be a difference maker this season, is Isaiah Oliver, who's just been the definition of a Swiss Army knife here on this team. His ability to play boundaries, ability to play in the slot, and his ability to line up as a safety while also having experience in Steve Wilkes' scheme is such a valuable asset, and I expect him to make a huge impact on the team this season, undoubtedly so. So not only do I think the secondary is able to reestablish themselves, but the overall defense as a whole and get back into that top 10 form that we're all hoping for and we're all hoping to see. But going back to the phone lines, up next here on the show is none other than the great Kyle Clifton, who joins.
Oh,
I don't know what happened. StreamYard was messing around there, and the Beast somehow found his way onto the screen.
my mother's watching. She was very confused.
Kyle, how you doing? No T squared tonight?
No T-squared. I bought some tickets. I think Jake donated them. I'm a little jealous. I got the FOMs, but I got to spend time with the family. So, I think Jack Talks Jets is saying that maybe the Jets are going to run a little bit more because of the D-line tonight.
Uh-huh.
It seems like we had a little bit of success running against them. It was the problem was when we were dropping back in the joint practices. I think that their pass rush was getting to us. So I think that it's going to be like any other NFL team. You're going to try and keep them off balance. It's definitely a challenge. I don't know how much their starters are going to play. But I mean, they can be had in the run game is kind of what I feel about it. My question for you is, now that we've moved on to the new jerseys and Brees might be out the door after this year, what do you have your eye on for next year as far as a jersey?
As far as a jersey, so I have a bunch of pretty cool. I have a pretty vast jersey collection. So I have the Brees jersey that I don't wear all that often, but I have a Tippmann jersey, a Joe Tippmann jersey. That's probably my favorite one right now. I have a Garrett jersey, I have a Sauce jersey, and I have a Tony Adams jersey among the jerseys in my current.
That's a bold choice, Connor. Going with the Tony.
Yeah, I got
UDFA.
I got that last year. I love the UDFAs. After his Week 5 pick against the Eagles, I was like, I got to get a Tony Adams jersey. So that's where that pick originated. That jersey choice originated from a few years ago. But I'm gonna go on to Parts Unknown, the DHgate website that everyone seems to be using for $25. And the two next jerseys that I am purchasing are Jay Tufele and Austin McNamara. And only because the prices are $30 a jersey or whatever on that website. So I'm going to go with Tufele and McNamara as my next two choices. But next year, if Fields is starting quarterback next year, I'll go with Fields or whoever their first round pick is next year.
Well, the great thing about a UDFA is if it hits, then you're totally vindicated, right? With your purchase. I went to the store around the corner and wearing my Mason Taylor, and my friend's son was actually working there, and he was impressed that I went with that move so early in his career. But I got a good feeling. I thought that was a calculated risk.
If Pritchett makes the team, I'll get a Pritchett jersey too, because I've spoken about Pritchett since early May. So if he makes the team, I will buy his jersey.
Great show, Connor. Enjoy the game.
Appreciate it, Kyle. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Kyle Clifton checking in with us right here on the show. Shout out to him, Kyle. Thank you for tuning in right here on the show. Appreciate the kind words. Appreciate your support. As always, right here on NY Flight Jets Talk. Less than 30 minutes away from kickoff, baby. 26 minutes away before things get started tonight at MetLife Stadium. And we're bringing you guys to game time right here on NY Flight Jets Talk. Connor along with you guys on the show. Make sure you smash the like button and hit subscribe, completely free. And it helps us grow a ton right here on the platform. Currently at 1,950 subs. Get us to 2K, 50 away. Keep smashing the like button, keep hitting subscribe, and then our membership raffle. Don't forget about that as well. The new prize is our biggest raffle we've ever done. You see it on the ticker down below, but this month's prizes include Sauce Gardner signed jersey, a Garrett Wilson signed helmet, a Wayne Corbett signed jersey, a CJ Mosley signed jersey, a Bart Scott signed photo, a Don Maynard signed photo, and the front page of the New York Daily News following the Jets' 1969 Super Bowl victory, and that front page comes in a frame as well. So those are the prizes we are giving away in this month's membership raffle. Thank you for all you guys tuning in. Make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe. Appreciate your support as always. We'll get to your final questions, comments, thoughts here before we do wrap up, because we are approaching game time. But don't worry, folks, because immediately after the final whistle, we are back right here on the show giving our post-game analysis, takeaways, and the biggest things we learned from the game. So immediately after the final whistle, we are back here on the show. So certainly stay tuned for that and make sure you are back here for the post-game show for our analysis, our takeaways, and our breakdown immediately after the final whistle. Mike D's Nuts, baby, once in on our membership raffle. Mike, shout out to you, my friend. And I know Jack Talks Jets is watching, so he'll give you a message.
I am Jack Carter, and I love the 2020 Jets. All I care about, oh, the 2020 Jets. Oh, after that, don't matter. The 2020, 2020, 2020, 2020, 2020, 2020, 2020. Crazy. Jets will win 6 games no matter what. The ceiling is 7 games, but Chris says, what the fuck? Jimmy in the chat, always talking crap, but it don't.
Thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate your support as always here on the show. If you hear your name called, thank Mike because he just gifted you a membership. Mr. Roberts, Who's Your Daddy, Team Curry, Oscar the Grouch, and Nate, you all receiving channel memberships from our good friend Mike D's Nuts. Shout out to you, Mike. Appreciate the support as always, and that will get you 5 raffle entries. Thank you so much, all you guys, for your support right here on NY Flight Jets Talk. Keep all the memberships, keep all the super chats coming because they do go a long way right here on the show. Speaking of Jack Talks Jets, he's in the chat, says, I need a new song, LMAO. Jack, I will be, and Josh, because I see you in the chat too, Josh says, hell yeah, Jack. Chris, too. Chris, I know, is not watching, but I will definitely be cooking up some new songs ahead of the season for that show, for the Next Gen Jets show every single Sunday night right here on this channel at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be cooking up new intros for all of us. So stay tuned for that, my fellow co-hosts, along with all you listeners right here on the show. Yours says, who's winning the kicking comp so far? Undoubtedly, thus far, it's been Nick Folk. We saw him get the first team reps throughout the first preseason opener against Green Bay. He's been the clear-cut favorite throughout training camp. He's been way more consistent throughout training camp. He showed off a more powerful leg throughout training camp. Nick Folk is the favorite. Ultimately, I think he earns this job and beats out Harrison the Thicker kicker Mevis to be the starting place kicker on this team come week 1 of the NFL season, September 7th against the Pittsburgh Steelers when the Jets open the year, and I expect Nick Folk to be this team's kicker. So Nick Folk's been the clear-cut favorite since he was added to the roster midway through training camp. Our guy Jay, 3 siblings, drops in, and he gives us a $20 super chat, baby. Shout out to you, Jay. Thank you so much for your support right here on the program. He says, my son's favorite player is Garrett Wilson. Favorite team in college is Ohio State. This is for JJ. Well, shout out to you, Jay. Great guy. Get it in the raffle for your son. And I now hope you do win that Garrett Wilson signed helmet that we are raffling off among so many other great prizes. I'll get you in the raffle right there, Jay. Appreciate your support as always right here on the show. 5 raffle entries in our membership raffle. Again, all the info for this month's membership raffle alongside the leaderboard can be found on the ticker down below. We appreciate all your support as always right here on NY Flight Jets Talk. Charleston Jets group talking about Alan Lazard here says, keep an eye out for injury until week 1 and trade him to the Steelers for a 7th rounder. Look, I just don't want him on this team. Okay, if you can get a 7th rounder for him, great. I don't want him on this team, though. I don't want him taking up a roster spot compared to the guy I've been talking about a ton, the young, explosive, lanky downfield threat in Quentin Skinner, who I think can easily replace him and make more of an impact. Just get him off the team. I don't want him holding a roster spot. Even if you can get a 7th round pick, that's a bonus. I think we're just at the point where you're trying to erase everything humanly possible from the Aaron Rodgers era. You just chalk that up as a bad signing from the old regime and move on. That's the best case scenario with Alan Lazard. Jets Rube also says Davis and Arian Smith are going to be a lot better than most think. I've been a huge Isaiah Davis fan. It sucks that he's out tonight because I really wanted to see him play tonight, but I still have high expectations for him. I think he is well in that race to be the team's secondary kick returner like we saw last year, but also make an impact offensively. His efficiency last year is what caught my eye most, and his ability to make an impact in the receiving game as well. So I think the Jets are truly going to take a full running back by committee approach this year and utilize all three of those running backs, potentially even Donovan Edwards. If he somehow claws his way out of this team, tonight's going to be a huge game for him and his chances, whether he makes the roster or not. With Davis out, he's going to see increased reps. He's going to see reps against an improved defense as well. So tonight's a pivotal game for him. And Arian Smith, man, he's looked the part thus far throughout training camp and the preseason. I just think he brings a different dimension, which is so unique. And that's what I ultimately think is his path to make an impact on this team, being the downfield threat who you can, Justin Fields can just chuck it up to all the way downfield once or twice a game, and you could see a 25, 30-yard gain. I think that's Arian Smith's role on this team, and he's done a great job of fitting that bill throughout training camp. He just needs to improve his route running ability, and he's there. Just once he improves that route running ability, I think he can have a huge role on this team, most definitely. Alan says, can't believe Brandon Smith is in line for an NFL job. Never thought so when I saw him at Iowa. Look, a lot of people like Brandon Smith. A lot of people want to see him on this team. He is nothing more than a preseason warrior, in my opinion. He's like the Adrian Martinez of the wide receiver room for the Jets. Look, if you want to keep him on the practice squad, I'm okay with it. That's what they did last year. But this isn't someone who can find his way onto the field during the regular season, make an impact. He was on the practice squad all of last year. He couldn't find his way onto the 53-man roster. He found his way onto the 53-man roster, at a point at the end of the year. I think he appeared in the Jacksonville Jaguars game, but he couldn't make a significant impact. This is a guy who sticks out in the preseason, but how much upside, how much intrigue does he really offer to you in the regular season? That's the biggest question, and I'd much rather take a risk on the upside of a guy like Jamal Pritchett or Quentin Skinner than a player of Smith's ilk. Robin Boy Wonders says, do you have any concern about how vague the injury reporting on Tyrod has been? And we may have Martinez as quarterback too. It's not that it's been vague, Robin Boy Wonders. Frankly, I just don't think we have all that much info yet. Aaron Glenn told reporters that he underwent surgery, and they're hopeful he will be ready for week 1. The fact that Adrian Martinez could be quarterback too, yes, that's concerning. And actually, right before I went live, I published an article for Jets X Factor on why, if Tyrod Taylor is not ready, the Jets should facilitate a trade with their crosstown rivals, who they're playing tonight, and try to bring in none other than Jameis Winston to be this team's backup quarterback. Under no measure do I feel comfortable rolling into the season with Adrian Martinez or Brady Cook as my backup quarterback if, should Tyrod Taylor suffer a setback and his recovery rolls into September and rolls into the regular season. Fields has never started a 17-game season in the NFL, and given his scramble-heavy tendency, his ability to take the fact that he takes a lot of sacks, that he doesn't get rid of the ball as quick as I think a lot of Jet fans would like, he's exposed to a lot more of a risk to injury than, the traditional pocket passer, the typical Baker Mayfield, the typical, Jared Goff type player, for example. So, look, the Jets could be a Fields injury away from seeing Adrian Martinez during week 1 of the regular season. That concerns me mightily. Is Jameis Winston a long-term starting option? Absolutely not. But he is a player who ultimately can get you through a game or two and gives you a better chance to win than Adrian Martinez or Brady Cook. Plus, from the Giants' perspective, it makes sense to deal Winston and try to acquire a conditional late-round pick. They signed him before the draft, before they selected Jackson Dart. They pretty much added them as an insurance option if they weren't able to get a quarterback. Should anything happen to Russell Wilson, they're going to prioritize the development of Dart any day of the week over what is Jameis Winston? 31-year-old Jameis Winston any day of the week. So it would make sense for them to move on from Winston as well. Look, again, over his career, 36-51 record across 87 starts. Is that great? No, but it's the best backup option that you're going to get ahead of the season. So that's the latest, in my opinion, on what the Jets should do with the quarterback 2 situation. Should Tyrod Taylor's injury progress into September and force him to miss time throughout the regular season. Jack, my boy Jack, says, do you believe we're going to see more passing than running tonight from the Jets because of this strong Giants defensive line? I believe so. I don't know how much the Jets are really going to switch up their game plan tonight, just given the personnel and the D-line they're going against. we saw. I do see. I do think we will see more running than we did last week. If that gives you a better answer, I can't say we're going to see more passing than running because we truly don't know what this team's game plan is entering tonight. I think we're going to see more rushes than we saw last week. We saw a lot of passing last week from the quarterbacks. I expect to see the running backs get more involved today, especially a guy like Donovan Edwards with Isaiah Davis out dealing with an injury. So I do think we will see an increased amount of running compared to what we saw last week. If that, again, I can't give you a firm answer just because I don't know what the game plan is, but that's the best I could just give you from an opinionated standpoint there. Jackal says, could there be a chance we can get an Arian Smith, Braylon Allen, or possibly Malachi Moore? I might get an Allen one. LOL. Look, Jack, we can undergo some intense negotiations as to matching jerseys here, but the Braylon Allen one would look great. Number 0, big 0, agent 0, self-proclaimed Allen. So, look, Arian Smith would be cool. Moore would be cool. But right now I have my sights set on J2 Fele, Austin McNamara, and Jamal Pritchett should they make the roster. So that's where I stand right now in the latest with my jersey collection update. Duncan says, would like to see some of the guys who balled out in the second half of the Packers game play against the ones this week. Definitely. And I think that's the biggest thing for players like J2 Fele, for players like Donovan Edwards. Show that last week just wasn't a fluke. Show that last week just wasn't a flash. That needs to be a regular sight for them. And I think that's what they're looking to show over these next 2 weeks. Prove that level of consistency to the point where they show the coaching staff that last week wasn't just a flash, and that's truly who they are as football players. And that's the way they're able to find this team's 53-man roster and hopefully make an impact throughout the regular season. So agree with what you're saying there. Thank you all for joining us right here on NY Flight Jets Talk. Smash that like button. Hit subscribe, folks. We got a live update on where we are subscriber-wise. Still just 50 away from 2,000 subs. So keep hitting subscribe, guys. I bet you some of you are watching and don't even realize that you're not subscribed. Just look down right below the video, and it should say subscribe. If it says subscribe, just hit that button, folks. It is completely free. It helps us grow significantly, and it means a lot here on the show. We appreciate your support as always. We are just 14 minutes away from kickoff. So we're going to wrap things up right here on NY Flight Jets Talk. We appreciate you all. I appreciate all your support right here on the show. And don't worry, we're not going anywhere because the second after the final whistle, we are back live right here on the channel with immediate post-game coverage, takeaways, analysis, etc. So stay tuned for that. Right after the final whistle, come right here on the channel, and we will have live analysis. Teresa says, so the game will be on CBS in New York only. Correct. If you are out of market, Teresa, you can listen to the game on SiriusXM Channel 380. You can watch the game on NFL Network. That's what I can give you on how to stream or televise tonight's game. Appreciate you tuning in, Teresa. Thank you all for tuning in again after the final whistle. Come back right here on NY Flight Jets Talk for immediate post-game coverage. I appreciate your support, as always, right here on the show. Thank you so much for your generosity with the memberships, with the super chats, with the kind words, as always. It really goes a long way to supporting the channel. Appreciate you all. Jets versus Giants, baby. Less than 15 minutes away, the annual Snoopy Bowl held at MetLife Stadium, and it comes this year, week 2 of the NFL preseason. Less than 20 minutes away. Hope everyone enjoys the game. Thank you for tuning in right here on NY Flight Jets Talk. I'm your host, Connor Long, signing off. Enjoy the game, everyone, and as always, JTS, baby. Jets, Jets, Jets. Peace out, folks.